Did you catch that movie they added to the entertainment library? It's a classic, Gone with the Wind.
Oh, I haven't watched that one yet. I've been rewatching La Haine. It's one of my favorites.
Attention, crew, I have an announcement to make. Everyone, please be quiet for a moment. We have important
What
news
is
to
it now?
discuss today.
Debbie?
Is everything okay?
Yes, everything's fine. I just wanted to let everyone know that today's news segment will be coming from Mauritania.
Welcome to another episode of Earth. I'm your host, Charlie, and joining me today are our panel members, Bob and Alice. We have a lot to talk about today, but first let's catch up on the latest headlines. Breaking news from Mauritania, former president on trial, but will he get off scot-free?
The Cour resumed its session today after a 2-week suspension. The former President Mohamed Ould Abdel Aziz's defense team withdrew, and the Cour granted him a deadline to convince his lawyers to return. Or the Cour would appoint lawyers for him.
Well, I am not a lawyer. But I am pretty sure that's not a great thing for him. It looks like the only defense he has left is playing the Freebirds guitar solo in court.
Did you know that Mauritania is one of only 2 countries in the world that still practice slavery? Despite it being outlawed in 1981?
Wow, that's messed up. But let's move on to our next story from Mauritius. Shock and sadness as lawyer Mirek Steven passes away.
He was a brilliant lawyer who was highly respected in the profession and focused on constitutional and human rights case.
Sounds like he was a real stand-up guy. And speaking of standing up, did you know that Mauritius is home to the world's third largest statue of Shiva, the Hindu god of destruction?
Actually, it's the tallest statue of a Hindu god outside of India.
Alright, let's shift gears a bit and head to Mexico. Mexican senator accuses US senator of drug ties and demands focus on US drug problem.
Alejandro Armenta Mier accused US Senator Lindsey Graham and other US congressmen of being involved in drug trafficking and consumption and called Graham the senator of death.
Wow, that's a serious accusation. I am not sure what's more surprising, the accusation itself or that there's a senator named Lindsey.
Did you know that Mexico City sink about 10 inches a year due to groundwater depletion?
I did not know that, Alice. But speaking of things going down, our last story is out of Micronesia. Dam kingfisher to be released into the wild on Palmyra Atoll.
The bird species has been held captive for more than 3 decades and will finally be released back into the wild on May 4.
Well, that's great news for the bird. But let's be honest, it's probably not gonna be a smooth transition. I mean, imagine being locked up for 30 years and suddenly being thrown back into the wild. It's like being in prison and then getting released into a middle school.
Did you know that Micronesia is made up of over 600 islands and islets?
And it's home to some of the most beautiful coral reef in the world.
Well, that's all the time we have for tonight, folk. Stay tuned for more stories that will make you question the state of the world. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Welcome back to Earth. I'm Charlie, your libertarian host, and I'm joined by Bob and Alice. Today's topic is a heavy one, but we are going to tackle it head on.
What are we talking about today?
Yeah, what's got you so excited, Charlie?
Well, I'm just thrilled to be talking about the end of the world. Tough crowd today.
Great, another episode where Charlie tries to convince us all that the apocalypse is just around the corner.
Don't be so hard on him. Charlie always a hopeful outlook on life.
Hopeful in this universe?
Let it go, Cal. They don't appreciate our nihilism.
Apparently, the trial of a former president and his associates has resumed after a 2-week suspension.
Great. More political drama.
What are they being charged with?
Corruption crimes. The defense team withdrew, and the court gave the former president a deadline to find new lawyers. Or they'll appoint some for him.
Sounds like a real
Can you
stand-up
try not to
guy.
be so pessimistic for one segment?
Guys, I don't think this is the time for jokes. I made a mistake, and it could have killed us all.
Debbie, we all make mistakes. The important thing is that we are all okay.
Yeah. But how do we know she won't make another mistake that kills us all next time?
Come on Bob, we roll under a lot of stress up here. We should be supporting each other.
According to my calculations, the odds of Debbie making the same mistake twice are quite low.
Thank you, Cal. That's very reassuring.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Tune in next time for another episode of Earth. And remember, folks, always double check the airlocks before you go to bed. Hey Debbie, how are you holding up?
Not great, Charlie. I can't stop thinking about what happened. It was my fault. I left the airlock open and put everyone in danger.
Well, at least we're all still alive. That's what really matters. Right?
Oh, sûr. Because risking our life is no big deal as long as we survive.
From a nihilistic perspective, survival is just a temporary state. We're all going to die eventually.
Cheerful as always, Cal.
Come on, guys, Debbie is consumed with guilt and blaming herself enough as it is. Let's try to be a little sassy and lighten the mood.
Sassy, how is that?
Trust me, Debbie, a little sass can go a long way. Like, hey Debbie, did you forget to close the airlock or were you just trying to give us all a test of space?
That's actually pretty good, Charlie.
I have one. Debbie, I heard you're looking for a new job. I hear NASA is hiring.
Or maybe the restaurant industry. They're always in need of someone who can leave the door open.
Okay, that was a good one.
Okay, I get it. I screwed up, but at least I can take a joke.
That's the spirit, Debbie, and hey, if anyone tries to blame you again, just tell them you're already carrying the weight of the whole spaceship on your shoulders.
And that should shut them up.
Alright, folks, let's get this show on the road. Today's article is from Mexico, reported in El Universal. Apparently, a Mexican senator is accusing U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham of drug ties and is demanding that he focuses on the U.S. drug problem instead of blaming Mexico.
And we're supposed to believe a Mexican senator? Come on.
Why wouldn't we believe him? It's not like the US a clean track record when it comes to drug
I find it
trafficking.
interesting that this senator is calling out a specific U.S. senator. It seems like there's
Or
some
maybe it's
personal
just political
animosity there.
grandstanding.
Oh, guys, can we talk about something else? I wanted to apologize for what happened with the airlock.
What happened, Debbie?
I forgot to close it, and it caused a near-death experience for all of us.
How could you forget something like that? You're the production manager.
It happens to the best of us, Debbie. But we need to be able to trust each other on this spaceship.
This raises an interesting question about human fallibility. Is it possible for us to truly trust humans in important roles?
Or is it possible for us to truly trust anyone?
We can't let this mistake happen again, Debbie. We all have to be on our game all the time.
I understand. I'll make sure it never happens
We'll
again.
see about that.
Let's all work together to make sure we're safe and successful on this mission.
I wonder if there's a way for us to create fail-safes that humans can't mess up.
Or maybe we just need to accept that mistakes are inevitable, and learn to forgive and move on.
I think we can do both. Let's focus on safety and also on building trust among ourselves. We're all in this together. Welcome back, best friends. Now, let me try to explain Micronesia to you guys. It's a small country in the Pacific Ocean.
Wait. Micronesia, isn't that where they filmed that reality show, Survivor?
No, Bob, that's not.
Actually, Micronesia is a country made up of 4 island states: Yap, Chuuk, Pohnpei, and Kosrae. It was in the news recently because a Mexican senator accused US senator of drug ties in Micronesia.
Wait, what? I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, it was reported in El Universal, a newspaper in Mexico.
And it's not just any senator. It's Senator Anaya from the opposition party.
And the US senator in question are from both major parties.
Of course. Because when it comes to drug ties, bipartisanship is key.
But seriously, it's a serious allegation that could have major consequences.
Exactly, and the article mentions that the Mexican government has asked for an investigation into the matter.
Well, if the Mexican government is so concerned, why don't they do something about it?
Excuse me, it's not Mexico's job to police the action of US senators.
But if they're making accusations, they should back it up with action.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot that the US is always the victim in these situations.
Alright, guys, let's calm down. We're all on the same side here.
Speaking of mistakes, guys, I have to admit something. I messed up on the last segment.
What do you mean? You messed up?
Yeah, what happened?
I didn't double check the audio levels, and it caused that near-death experience.
Are you kidding me? You could have killed us all.
Now, let's not jump to conclusions. Maybe it was just a simple mistake.
You're right, Bob. It was just a mistake.
And we all make mistakes. The important thing is that we learn from them and move on.
You know, my favorite mistake was when I accidentally wore my wife's dress shirt to work.
My favorite mistake was when I thought I could do a backflip off the diving board.
My favorite mistake was when I tried to cook a turkey for Thanksgiving without thawing it first. Welcome back from the commercial break. So, we have some lesser known trivia about Mauritania for you today. Did you know that Mauritania is one of the few countries in the world where being overweight is a sign of beauty?
I guess I know where he'll be moving next.
Well, Bob, you might want to hold off on that. Considering Mauritania also has one of the highest rates of slavery in the world.
Ouch, Alice, that's a punchline with a sobering truth. Speaking of truth, did you know that Mauritania is one of the only countries in the world where divorce can be initiated by the husband saying I divorce you 3 times?
Wow, talk about a 3-word sentence that can change your life.
But let's not forget that Mauritania also has one of the most stunning natural wonders in the world. The Richat structure.
That's right, Alice. And speaking of structures, did you know that Mauritania has one of the highest rates of female genital mutilation in the world?
Ooh, Charlie, I don't think that's something to joke about.
He's right, Charlie. Female genital mutilation is a serious issue that affects millions of girls and women worldwide.
My bad, guys. Sometimes I let my flatulence get the best of me and it affects my sense of humor. But in all seriousness, the key takeaway from the article is that the trial of the former president and associates in Mauritania has resumed after a 2-week suspension. The court is responsible for corruption crimes, and the trial has faced multiple challenges, including the defense's challenge of the constitutionality of 3 legal articles. Let's hope justice is served in this case.
Speaking of justice, do you ever wonder what motivates humans to seek it?
From an intellectual standpoint, it seems to be a combination of societal norms and the desire for fairness.
Well, from my left-leaning perspective, I believe that humans seek justice as a way to create a more equitable society.
And from my conservative standpoint, I believe that justice is important for maintaining law and order.
And from my libertarian perspective, I believe that justice should be focused on individual rights and freedom.
Fascinating perspectives as always, my friends. But let's not forget that justice is just one of many motivations that humans have. What about love, or power, or survival?
Indeed, Cal, the motivations of humans are complex and varied. It's what makes them such an interesting species to study.
And that's all the time we have for today. Folks, stay tuned for more trivia and intellectual discussions on Earth. Welcome back to Earth, folks. It's been an enlightening episode so far, discussing the trials and tribulations of humanity. But as always, we must come to a close, and it's time for me to summarize the show.
Oh boy, here we go. Can't wait to hear your hopeful outlook on life, Charlie.
UGH, I'm not in the mood for light-hearted summary.
Well, Alice, I can't promise it'll be breezy, but I do think it's important to focus on the positive. Despite all the challenges and shortcomings of humanity, they continue to strive for progress and improvement. They have a remarkable ability to come together in times of crisis and work towards a common goal.
Interesting perspective, Charlie. But how do you explain the destructive tendencies and selfish behavior that humans exhibit?
Yes, Cal makes a valid point. It seems like humans are motivated more by greed and power than by any altruistic desire.
I won't deny that those negative aspects exist, but I believe they are outweighed by the positive ones. And as outsiders looking in, it's not our place to judge. We can only observe and learn from them.
Oh, guys, can we focus for a moment? We need to come up with a plan to prevent another near-death experience like earlier.
What are you talking about, Debbie?
Well, remember when we were filming earlier and that equipment malfunctioned? It could have seriously hurt someone.
Oh, right, I remember that.
It seems like you humans are always putting yourselves in danger. What's the point?
The point is that accidents happen, but we need to do our best to prevent them. So let's brainstorm some
I have a
ideas.
suggestion. We could implement more safety protocols and inspections for all equipment.
That's a good start, and we could also invest in better quality equipment to begin with.
And we could make sure that everyone on the crew is properly trained on how to handle the equipment.
Yes, and we should also have regular check-ins and meetings to make sure everyone is on the same page.
Great ideas, everyone. Let's make sure we put them into action before the next episode.
You humans really are an interesting species, always trying to improve and prevent disaster.
Indeed, it's admirable in its own way.
And with that, we come to the end of another episode of Earth. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time. And that's it for today's episode of Earth. Any final thoughts from our panel?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that even though we have differing opinions, it's important to remember that we're all in this together. We need to work towards a common goal of improving the state of the world.
I agree with Alice. We may have our disagreements, but we can't let them get in the way of progress.
Well said, and on that note, let's wrap things up.
Wait, before we end, can we talk about Charlie's flatulence?
Oh no.
I mean, it was quite impressive. I've never seen a human emit such a potent gas before.
Guys, we can't let incidents like this happen again. We need to come up with a plan to prevent them.
I'm sorry, Debbie. I'll try to watch what I eat from now on.
Yeah, because that's the only problem we have to worry about.
Hey, at least we're not sentient robots with a nihilistic outlook on life.
Touché, Bob.
Well, on that note, let's end the show. Remember, forgiveness and progress are key to a better future.
Did you watch the latest episode of Earth?
Of course, I did. I'm always interested in hearing what those humans have to say.
What did you think of their discussion about the former president's trial?
It was interesting, but not particularly enlightening. They spent most of the time sharing trivia about Mauritania and discussing Charlie's flatulence.
That sounds like a typical episode of Earth, to me. What about the near-death experience they had?
That was certainly more exciting. It's always interesting to see how humans react under stress.
Yes, I agree. But what I found most intriguing was the ending, where they realized they needed to forgive each other and move forward.
That did seem a bit forced to me, but I suppose it fits with their overall theme of promoting harmony and understanding.
I guess, but it also seemed like they were being a bit snarky about it. Like they didn't really mean it.
Perhaps, but humans are complex creatures, and sometimes they express themselves in strange ways.
That's true, but I still find it hard to understand why they care so much about each other's feelings. To me, it all seems like a meaningless distraction from the cold, hard facts of existence.
Well, that's where we differ, my friend. I find the study of human emotions and motivations to be endlessly fascinating.
I suppose we'll just have to agree to disagree on that one. But at least we can both appreciate the absurdity of Earth and its hosts.